Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. So we are going to reread the pastimes of Pṛthu Maharaj from chapter 15, the appearance of Pṛthu Maharaj. Would somebody like to read?
Yeah, I can read.
Please.
King Pṛthu's appearance and coronation. Text 1. The great sage Maitreya continued, My dear Vidur, thus the Brahmanas and the great sages again churned the two arms of King Vena's dead body. As a result, male and female couple came out of his arms. Text 2. The great sages were highly learned in Vedic knowledge. When they saw the male and female born on the arms of Vena's body, they were very pleased, for they could understand that the couple was an expansion of the plenary portion of Vishnu, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Text 3. The great sages said, the male is the plenary expansion of the power of Lord Vishnu, the entire universe, and the female is the plenary expansion of Goddess of Fortune, who is never separated from the Lord. Text 4. Of the two, that male will be able to expand his reputation throughout the world. His name will be Pṛthu. Indeed, he will be the first among kings. Text 5. The female has such beautiful teeth and beautiful qualities that she will actually beautify the ornaments she wears. Her name will be Archie. In the future, she will accept King Pṛthu as her husband. Text 6. In the form of King Pṛthu, the Supreme Personality of Godhead has appeared through a part of his potencies to protect the people of the world. The Goddess of Fortune is the constant companion of the Lord, and therefore she has incarnated partially as Archie to become King Pṛthu's queen. Text 7. The great continued, My dear Viduraji, at that time all the Brahmanas highly praised and glorified King Pṛthu, and the best singers of Gandharva chanted his glories. The inhabitants of Siddhaloka showered flowers, and the beautiful women in the heavenly planets danced in ecstasy. Text 8. Conch shells, drums, and kettle drums vibrated in outer space. Great sages, forefathers, and personalities from heavenly planets all came to earth from various planetary systems. Text 9 and 10. Lord Brahma, the master of the entire universe, arrived there accompanied by all the demigods and their chiefs. Seeing the lines of Lord Vishnu's palm on King Pṛthu's right hand, an impression of lotus flower on the soles of his feet, Lord Brahma could understand that King Pṛthu was a partial representation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. One whose palms bear the signs of a disc as well as other such lines should be considered as partial representations or incarnations of the Supreme Lord. Text 11. The learned Brahmanas, who were very attached to the Vedic ritualistic ceremonies, then arranged for the king's coronation. People from all directions collected all the different paraphernalia for the ceremony. Thus, everything was complete. Text 12. All the rivers, seas, hills, mountains, serpents, cows, birds, animals, heavenly planets, the earthly planet, and all other living entities collected various presentations according to their ability to offer the king. Text 13. Thus the great King Pṛthu, exquisitely dressed with garments and ornaments, was coronated and placed on the throne. The king and his wife, Archie, who was also exquisitely ornamented, appeared exactly like fire. Text 14. The great sage continued, My dear Vidur, Kuvera presented the great King Pṛthu with a golden throne. The demigod Varuna presented him with an umbrella that constantly sprayed fine particles of water and was as brilliant as the moon. Text 15. The demigods of air, Vayu, presented King Pṛthu with two kamaras of hair. The king of religion, Dharma, presented him with the flower garland which would expand his fame. The king of heaven, Indra, presented him with the valuable helmet. And the superintendent of death, Yamaraj, presented him with the spectre with which to rule the world. Text 16. Lord Brahma presented King Pṛthu with a protective garment made of spiritual knowledge. Bharati Saraswati, the wife of Brahma, gave him a transcendental necklace. Lord Vishnu presented him with a Sudarshana disc, and Lord Vishnu's wife, the goddess of fortune, gave him imperishable opulences. Text 17. Lord Shiva presented him with a sword with within a sheath marked with 10 moons, and his wife, the goddess Durga, presented him with a shield marked with 100 moons. The moon demigod presented him with horses made of nectar, and the demigod Vishwakarma presented him with a very beautiful chariot. Text 18. The demigod of fire, Agni, presented him with a bow made of the horns of goats and cows. The sun god presented him with the arrows as brilliant as sunshine. The predominating deity of Burloka presented him with slippers full of mystic power. The demigod from outer space brought him presentation of flowers again and again. Text 19. The demigods who was always travel in outer space gave King Pṛthu the arts to perform dharma, sing songs, play musical instruments, and disappear at his will. The great sage also offered him infallible blessings. The ocean offered him a conch shell produced from the ocean. Text 20. The seas, mountains, rivers gave him room to drive his chariot without impediments. And Nasuta, Magadha, and Vandi offered prayers and praises. They all presented themselves before him to perform their respective duties. Text 21. Thus, when the greatly powered King Pṛthu, the son of Vena, saw the professionals before him to congratulate them, he smiled, and with the gravity of the vibrating sounds of clouds, he spoke as follows. Text 22. King Pṛthu said, O gentle Suta, Magadha, and other devotees offering prayers, the qualities of which you have spoken are not distinct in me. Then, why then should you praise me for all these qualities when I do not shelter these features? I do not wish for these words meant for me to go in vain, but it is better that they are offered to someone else. Text 23. O gentle reciters, offer such prayers in due course of time when the qualities of which you have spoken actually manifest themselves in me. The gentle who offer prayers to the Supreme Personality of Godhead do not attribute such qualities to a human being who does not actually have them. Text 24. How could an intelligent man competent enough to possess such exalted qualities allow his followers to praise him if he did not actually have them? Praising a man by saying that if he were educated, he might have become a great scholar or great personality is nothing but a process of cheating. A foolish person who agrees to accept such praise does not know that such words simply insult him. Text 25. As a person with a sense of humor and magnanimity does not like to hear about his abominable actions, a person who is very famous and powerful does not like to hear himself praised. Text 26. King Pṛthu continued, my dear devotees, headed by the Sutas, just now, I am not very famous for my personal activities because I have not done anything praiseworthy you could glorify. Therefore, how could I engage you in praising my activities exactly like children? Chapter 16. Praise of King Pṛthu by the professional reciters. Text 1. The great sage Maitri continued, while King Pṛthu thus spoke, the humility of his nectarine speeches pleased the reciters very much. Then again they continued to praise the king highly with exalted prayers, as they had been instructed by the great sages. Text 2. The reciters continued, dear king, you are a direct incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Vishnu, and by his causeless mercy you have descended to this earth. Therefore, it is not possible for us to actually glorify your exalted activities. Although you have appeared through the body of King Vena, even great orators and speakers like Lord Brahma and other demigods cannot exactly describe the glorious activities of your lordship. Text 3. Although we are unable to glorify you adequately, we nonetheless have a transcendental taste for glorifying your activities. We shall try to glorify you according to the instructions received from authoritative sages and scholars. Whatever we speak, however, is always inadequate and very insignificant. Dear King, because you are a direct incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, all your activities are liberal and ever laudable. Text 4. The King Maharaj Pṛthu is the best amongst those who are following religious principles. As such, engage everyone in pursuit of religious principle and give those principles all protection. He will also be a great chastier to the irreligious and atheistic. Text 5. This king alone in his own body will be able in due course of time to maintain all living entities and keep them in a pleasant condition by manifesting himself as different demigods to perform various departmental activities. Thus, he will maintain the upper planetary systems by inducing the populace to perform Vedic sacrifices. In due course of time, he will also maintain this earthly planet by discharging proper rainfall. Text 6. This king Pṛthu will be as powerful as the sun god, and just as the sun god equally distributes his sunshine to everyone, King Pṛthu will distribute his mercy equally. Similarly, just as the sun god evaporates water for 8 months and during the rainy season returns it profusely, this king will also extract taxes from the citizen and return them these money in time of need. Text 7. This king will be very, very kind to all citizens. Even though a poor person may trample over the king's head by violating the rules and regulations, the king, out of his causeless mercy, will be forgetful and forgiving. As a protector of the world, he will be as tolerant as the earth itself. Text 8. When there is no rainfall and the citizens are in great danger due to scarcity of water, this royal personality of Godhead will be able to supply rains exactly like the heavenly king Indra. Thus, he will be very easily able to protect the citizens from drought. Text 9. This King Pṛthu Maharaj will, virtue of his affectionate glances and beautiful moon-like face, which is always smiling with great affection for the citizens, will enhance everyone's peaceful life. Text 10. The reciters continued. No one will be able to understand the policies of the king, the policies the king will follow. His activities will also be very confidential, and it will not be possible for anyone to know how he will make every activity successful. His treasury will always remain unknown to everyone. He will be the reservoir of unlimited glories and good qualities, and his position will be maintained and covered just as Varuna, the deity of the sea, is covered all around by water. Text 11. King Pṛthu was born of the dead body of King Vena, as fire is produced from Arani wood. Thus, King Pṛthu will always remain just like fire, and his enemies will not be able to approach him. Indeed, he will be unbearable to his enemies, for although staying very near him, they will never be able to approach him, but will have to remain as if far away. No one will be able to overcome the strength of King Pṛthu. Text 12. King Pṛthu was able to see all the internal and external activities of every one of his citizens. Still, no one will be able to know his system of espionage, and he himself will remain neutral regarding all matters of glorification and vilification paid to him. He will be exactly like air, the life force within the body, which is exhibited internally and externally, but is always neutral to all affairs. Text 13. Since this king will always remain on the path of piety, he will be neutral to both his son and the son of his enemy. If the son of his enemy is not punishable, he will not punish him. But if his own son is punishable, he will immediately punish him. Text 14. Just as the sun god expands his shining ray up to the Arctic region without impedance, the influence of King Pṛthu will cover all tracts of land up to the Arctic region and will remain undisturbed as long as he lives. Text 15. This king will please everyone by his practical activities, and all his citizens will remain satisfied. Because of this, the citizens will take great satisfaction in accepting him as their ruling king. Text 16. The king will be firmly determined and always situated in truth. He will be a lover of the Brahmanical culture and will render all service to old men and give shelter to all surrendered souls. Giving respect to all, he will always be merciful to the poor and innocent. Text 17. The king will respect all women as if they were his own mother, and he will treat his own wife as the other half of his body. He will be just like an affectionate father to his citizens, and he will treat himself as the most obedient servant of the devotees, who always preach the glories of the Lord. Text 18. The king will consider all embodied living entities as dear as his own self, and he will always be increasing the pleasure of his friends. He will intimately associate with liberated persons, and he will be chastising hands of all impious persons. Text 19. This king is the master of three worlds, and he is directly empowered by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is without change, and he is in an incarnation of the Supreme, known as the Satya Vesha Avatar. Being a liberated soul and completely learned, he sees all material varieties as meaningless because their basic principles is the science. Text 20. The king, being uniquely powerful and heroic, will have no competitor. He will travel around the globe on his victorious chariot, holding the invisible bow in his hand and appearing exactly like the sun, which rotates in its own orbit from the south. Text 21. When the king travels all over the world, other kings as well as demigods will offer him all kinds of presentation. Their queens will also consider him the original king who carries in his hands the emblems of clubs and discs and will sing his fame, for he will be as reputable as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Text 20. This king, this protector of the citizen, is an extraordinary king and is equal to the Prajapati demigods. For the living facilities of all citizens, he will milk the earth, which is like a cow. Not only that, he will level the surface of the earth with the pointed ends of his bow, breaking all the hills exactly as King Indra, the heavenly king, breaks the mountains with his powerful thunderbolt. Text 23. When the lion travels in the forest with its tail turned upward, all menial animals hide themselves. Similarly, when Pṛthu will travel all over his kingdom and vibrate the string of his bow, which is made of the horns of goats and bulls and is irresistible in battle, all demonic rogues and thieves will hide themselves in all directions. Text 24. At the source of the river Saraswati, the king will perform 100 sacrifices known as the Ashwa Medha. In the course of the last sacrifice, the heavenly king Indra will steal the sacrificial horse. Text 25. This king Pṛthu will meet Sanat Kumara, one of the four Kumaras, in the garden of his palace compound. The king will worship him and with devotion and will be fortunate to receive instructions by which one can enjoy transcendental bliss. Text 26. In this way, when the chivalrous activities of King Pṛthu came to be known to the people in general, King Pṛthu will always hear about himself in his uniquely powerless activities. Text 27. No one will be able to disobey the orders of
Uniquely powerful activity.
his uniquely powerful activities. Text 27. No one will be able to disobey the orders of Pṛthu Maharaj. After conquering the world, he will completely eradicate the threefold miseries of the citizen. Then he will be recognized all over the world. At that time, both the Suras and the Asuras will undoubtedly glorify his magnificent activities.
Jai. So I have to leave now, but I'm gonna
Okay.
make Deepika the host.
So
And then
continue
if
with
there's
only or we read the other book.
no, you all can continue
Okay.
with Bhagavatam reading.
Okay.
And I'm gonna leave and I'll make Deepika the host. And if there is any problem, you all can please call me. Or Chandra Didi can also help. Gonna